Coming up next on Get Caught in a Net. Love. It comes in different shapes, sizes, and has different meanings. A true love story on Mind, Body, and Soul with ANet. Meet this former sexual assault victim who overcame suicidal ideations, depression, and even death to become a spiritual motivational speaker in order to extend the love of God. Amenna Scott of JesusWorks Housing Voucher Program will be my next guest. Wednesday, February 12th, 2025, 12 noon Central Standard Time. What are you waiting on? Get caught in a net.
You are now tuned in to Mind, Body, and Soul with ANet, where your host, Annette Harris, analyze intriguing life questions and concerns, such as, do Christians suffer from mental illness? Have you wondered why they act abnormal? Or you may ask, what is really going on in their minds? Do you need ANet? Well, keep listening for a biblical understanding of the psychology of the mind.
Great afternoon, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in, come on in. I'm so excited on this afternoon. I'm your girl, Annette Harris. I am the host of Mind, Body, and Soul with ANet, brought to you by Get Caught in a Net Incorporated, of which I am CEO. I am also your certified mental health ambassador and award-winning author of that bestseller, Surviving a Silenced Heartbeat. Listen, guys, I want you to come in on today because I have someone that I want to introduce to you that I believe you will benefit from listening to. But before we get started, Lord, we thank you for all things. We thank you for who you are, how you are, what you've done, what you're going to do, and how you're blessing us, your people. Continue to get the glory out of this segment and everything we go to say and do. In Jesus' name we pray. And the opening scripture is the first part of Hosea 4:6, and it states, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. And again, I'm excited that you guys are joining me on another Wednesday. What's my motto? I always tell you, if you see my face at 12 noon Central Standard Time on a Wednesday, it's time for you to come on and get caught in the net. You know, we love to feature individuals and highlight them and their projects, their journeys, and of course, you know, making sure that we relate everything back to psychology and the spiritual aspects of everyday life. I'm going to encourage each of you that when you come into this live feed, please make sure that you click the like, love, care, and please make sure you share. You also can tag individuals into this live feed so that they will be able to watch it either live now, or they can come back and watch the recorded session. So without further ado, I'm going to bring my guest in so we can talk to her on this afternoon. We have with us this woman has a big heart. I just met her, but I can already tell she has a huge heart for helping others. Amenna Scott is my guest. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for asking. I'm doing really good, really good. So we are glad to be here on this afternoon because we want to kind of highlight what you are doing in the community and beyond to help others. So I have a little bit of your bio, but what I'm going to ask you to do for me, if you wouldn't mind, describing who you are, introducing yourself to this platform. Who is Amenna Scott?
Well, I'm a lot of things. First I was sick at 5 with symptomatic lupus. I got diagnosed with symptomatic lupus and seizures. So I had to get both of my kidneys taken out at the age of 6 years old. And I had to be on dialysis, peritoneal dialysis. And then I got transferred because they caught an infection. So I had to take that out. And I was glad. That it caught infection because I didn't like the way it was feeling. And then I started hemodialysis. So I had to get a graft, this is what a graft is right there. Okay. And you have had to go to dialysis every Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So, but I thank God for one thing. I thank God is because I received a kidney transplant 2020 during the pandemic.
Praise God.
So I was so happy about that and blessed. Still remember the day when God told me I was going to get one. I was in church and He spoke to me and said I was going to get a kidney. And that's when I started hearing all calls coming in. It was just great. And far as anything else, I've been sexually assaulted twice, and I went through depression from losing my brother/cousin. I actually died, and God brought me back, and actually had a spiritual encounter. I actually saw my mom and my aunt and them during that time, and I was, I was dead. So I actually saw them in the spirit realm, and but God brought me back from that. And I was actually upset at God at that time because I wasn't really fully healed and understood why God wanted me to be here from going through whatever, the things that I went through. And as a young woman, I just say, don't give up. Don't give up, no matter. It's a reason why God does the things He does. And I knew when I didn't know at that time, but when I went there after the ordeal of me dying, my big sister, and I tell this story all the time. My big sister invited me to church, and she invited me to church, and I used to deny her all the time. But she always asked me to go to church, come to church. I was like, I don't want to go to church. I don't want to go to church. But this one time, I agreed, and I said, okay, I'm gonna go to church with you. And I'm gonna tell you, I looked at this because I come from a Catholic background,
Okay.
so I didn't understand the Pentecostal background. Okay. So I didn't know what was all this about.
Okay.
So when I went into the church, I seen them dancing and, praising God, and crying and shouting. And I'm like, they don't do this in no Catholic church. And I'm like, nah, they don't do this. They don't do this in no Catholic church. And when I definitely when my pastor, who is my pastor now, his name is Victor Fur. And my first lady is Nadine Fur at Victoria's Life of Faith Church. I went there. It was my other sister, and she dragged me to the prayer thing, to the prayer front of the room. And I was like, the prayer line. I said, I don't know about this because you scared. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what's gonna happen. But once I went up there, I was amazed because once he touched me, I felt like, oh my God, I was like, I felt something and I kept feeling something, and I was like, oh my God, what is that? What is that feeling? What is that? What is that? And I'm talking about, I was feeling this feeling so powerful in me. I was asking my both of my big sisters, what is this? What is this? And my big sister, which is her name is Brenda, she said, that's God. That's God. She said, that's God moving in you and everything like that. And I never felt so much love ever in my life, because you just didn't. Especially when you're going through depression, you don't feel like you being loved, and you cast out a lot of people, and you withdraw from people when you're going through depression. And that's exactly what I did. And but when I felt that 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 moment, that moment that somebody actually loved Amenna, I felt different, and I was like, dang, I don't know about this. But I never looked back. I said, God, I'm never going to try to take my life again. And I just haven't looked back since, just kept on going toward
Right.
what God wanted me to do and got baptized. And that was it for me. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I can't even describe that feeling.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. My goodness, that was tremendous. Thank you. And I'm glad you went into that, so we can kind of get to know who you are and what you've dealt with. And I'm sure it wasn't easy. Going through what you went through. I mean, you just gave us a description of, even your health was challenged. You literally died, and God brought you back. So looking at all that, and my hat is off to you, my heart goes out to you as well, but I'm glad that you had that experience with Christ where he was able to show you his love. There, like you said, there's somebody that loves me, there's somebody that loves Amenna. And I think that's so important for us to understand, especially the world we live in, the things we're facing. Sometimes people feel like they're alone, and whatever it is that they're dealing with, that it's only them that's dealing with it, right? Sometimes you feel like that. But I'm grateful for the journey, the way that God has taken you. If I may ask, okay, so with the suicidal thoughts, suicide ideations that you had, did that come from because of maybe the things that you experienced physically when you were young? Was it all a culmination of all of what you had dealt with?
Well, my suicide actually came from me losing my brother slash cousin. He got shot.
Okay.
He was 17, and we was
So sorry.
so close, and I say this all the time: when you go through a traumatizing experience, especially at a young age, and now I'm still a young woman, but as a younger woman, as like 15 and up, you feel like, what? Teenager, you like, wow. And it's like it was yesterday. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is just crazy, because one thing about it, you live with a person so long, and
Mm,
then you turn around and don't see them no more,
yeah.
and that person was um my cousin slash brother. We really are cousins, but I call him my brother. We was like brother. We always called each other brothers and sisters. We were so close. We He was like my protector. He was always
Mm,
fighting for me, because I used to get bullied all the time. I used to get bullied, and even got bullied by my teacher. And just
wow.
and I used to be cast out, because I used to be in and out the hospital all the time. So it was devastating for me as a child, and going through adults treating me like crap. And my
Mm,
brother slash cousin was there all the time. He was the one that was protecting me. My other brother was protecting me too, and it was just
mm,
when I lost that, when I lost that, somebody close to my age, it was difficult for me. It was very difficult for me, because I'm like, hey, I don't have my best friend no more. I don't have my best friend. And it's sometimes when you think of stuff like that, a person being in your life, always there for you, and you finally realize that they're not coming back, it's a it takes a toll on a person, and you really don't understand what's going on with you, at a young age. You don't know, and dealing with it. And my family, which is always know that I'm the stronger one in the family, but at that I couldn't even deal with it, and I was wondering why I couldn't deal with such a tremendous loss. Like, I went through the funeral and everything with a big girl, but came a couple of days. I changed. It was something different about me, something different. I felt lost. I felt alone. I felt like something snatched my friend up, or my brother up, and didn't snatch me up, and we used to pray together all the time, and that right there is what I miss the most, because we used to always do things together, and it's not as easy when you're on the top of the bunk and he's on the bottom, and you look down and you don't see nobody there anymore. And that's the hardest thing you can ever go through, when you lose somebody like that. So when I went through my depression, it wasn't just because of my sickness. It was just because of some of the fact I couldn't deal with losing my brother slash cousin at all. Like I didn't feel like I had no meaning to life anymore. I felt like something was changing in me. Like I felt like I was not here on earth anymore. Like I was just walking in pure darkness and didn't even know that I was walking in darkness. Like I could still remember when I just graduated, just went to college, and we had to do a paper. It was called The Meaning of Life. And I was like, oh my goodness, I don't have no meaning of life. So when I did this paper, I had everybody crying. I was telling them how the devil was on the earth, and everything. And I wasn't saved at the time, I wasn't saved at the time, not knowing God and everything. I knew God, but I didn't know God personally. And I had everybody crying. And after that day, after we celebrated, that was the day we went to Chili's and everybody was having fun, but not me. I was the one that was sitting by myself alone, figuring out when is this. The only thing was in my head was, when it's time to die. Okay. And that was it. And that's when I made my decision not to go to dialysis no more or anything. So I missed like 5 days.
Okay, I had myself on mute. So that's interesting. Now let me ask you. Now he was 17, you said, when that occurred?
Mhm. Yes.
And how old were you?
I was, he was 17. I was 18. We was a year apart.
Okay, so you're older than him. So yeah, it everybody knows me. I'm all things psychology. I'm all things mental health. And obviously you were going through those stages of grief. And some you probably repeated and came back to, or what have you, but you were really going through, like you said, that was somebody that you were so close to. And it sounds like, were you guys in the same household as well?
Yes, all the time. Yeah, we
Yeah.
lived together. We lived together. My mom, my aunt, my
Okay.
uncle.
Right, right. I'm so sorry for your loss, and I can only imagine how that was. And even though it, may have been years ago, but that's still something. Um, Grief doesn't have an expiration date, but it's how we
Right.
deal with it, is what's going to be the key. How we deal with it, how we come out of it, and I'm so grateful that you were able to do the things that you've done thus far, because in your helping others, you're still helping yourself. You're still
Yes.
helping yourself. So that's beautiful. And thanks for being transparent and sharing and these things with us, again, so we can get to know you and understand. Now, you even mentioned about you face sexual assault as well.
Yes.
Do you can you kind of maybe go in a little bit more of that, of what you want to share with us as far as that's concerned? Because we do have, unfortunately, I don't know what age you were, but we have people of all ages that are becoming victims of sexual assault, whether it is from somebody they know or don't know or grew up with. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that experience that you had?
Yes. So I was only 15 when I first got sexually assaulted. I was 15. I wanted to go to a party. I never been to a party before. Like I said before, I always was isolated as a child. I couldn't go places like to parties or to beaches or none of that because I stayed in the hospital all the time.
All
So
right.
that life that everybody else was having fun about, I wasn't having that. I was always in the hospital. So this one chance that I did wanted to go to a house party. I never been to a house party. So I said, okay, hey, yeah, I'll go. And one of my friends invited me and she we was close friends. And she knew the people. And I didn't actually know them like that. So I went there. It's supposed to have been another girl that came. That's supposed to have been another girl that came, but she bailed out at the last minute. So that's when she asked me, and I came and I said, okay, I'll come. 15. You just want to see what life is about. You know what I'm saying? You don't really want to pay listen to your parents or anything, but you want to actually see you want to party with your friends and be around your friends. And since I was isolated all the time, I wanted to see what was the hype about parties. So I went
Mm-hmm.
there and when soon I got there, I didn't really feel it. It was like, oh my goodness, I started feeling like this presence that I didn't want to, you know, it wasn't right for me, but I knocked it off. I was like, okay, whatever, just shake it off. And then I went in the house. We went in the house. I remember that day because my team was playing. The Detroit 76ers was playing that day. Yay. I had my blue 76ers shirt, jacket on, shorts on with the orange and white star. I and I went in there and everything was just so, oh my goodness, out of order. It was smoking, it was drinking. These was older people at that. These
Okay.
wasn't no 15-year-olds. These was grown folks. And I was like, oh, I definitely don't know about this. I when I said, I thought you told me this was a party. Well, for our age, but and then so it was only one unavailable room. Everybody else was doing them. And when I went in the one room that I was in, I looked at TV. I looked at I was looking at 76ers, the game, and they lost that day. Come to find, they lost that day. And I was so upset. I said, man, can't believe they lost. And all I know is this older lady was coming past the door where I was coming from. And she had you could tell she was a little intoxicated, and she had these jeans on. She had jeans on
Mm-hmm.
and a shirt, and she walked past me. But then there was a gentleman that walked behind her, but he didn't have nothing on. He didn't have. He was basically nude, and I
Wow.
was like, oh my goodness. Still had the condiment on his gentle areas. And I was like, wow, this not my thing. I'm ready to go. So he came in the room. And I knew right then and there that you know, it wasn't right because I'm like, what is going on? He was drunk and then he was intoxicated. And I never had to fight a grown man before. So it was something that, I had to do, even though I was scared to death. I was
Wow.
so afraid. I was terrified because you don't know what this grown man gonna do. So only thing I'm trying to do is talk my way out of it first. And one thing I learned was sometimes you can't talk your way out of things. And this time I knew I couldn't talk my way out of it. And I'm used to talking my way out of a lot of things. That's why
Mm-hmm.
my always say you're gonna be the prosecutor in the family. Um, um, but I couldn't talk my way out of this one, and I had to fight. I had to fight my offender off, but it didn't go the way that it because he was a lot stronger than me and a lot taller than me. Um, he was like 6 feet.
Oh God.
And and I'm like, wow, I know I'm not gonna be able to fight this man off. But I did get some hits off, but it wasn't enough. And
Oh,
so
I'm so sorry.
the assault took place, and then I went home, and I basically cried. I was ashamed. I didn't feel like I was wanted because something, when that happens, it just feels like something being taken away from you, and you feel like you're not valuable. You're not, something is missing from you. You
Yeah.
can't get back because
Right.
somebody has violated, you
Yeah.
know, and and a lot of times out of 10, it's not you. It's not you, it's them. They the ones that violated you.
Right.
I had to get that out my head, dealing with that. And I
Mm-hmm.
did talk to somebody. I did talk to my counselor, but that didn't work for me because I have a problem with now, one thing that you you s- I'm s- you still heal from the things that you go through, but
Mm-hmm.
you it sometimes it leaves a little stint there, um and that's the detachment problem. I don't attach myself to people as much as I used to. So you always leave it's always something,
Yeah.
and I don't draw myself to men like I used to. Like it's a
Okay.
lot of things that I used to be so gullible about that you don't
Mm-hmm.
be as gullible no more. You be more aware,
Right.
you be more aware of the signs, and sometimes if you don't get over it, sometimes it will get you in a depression type state. And
Yes.
that's why I say talk to somebody. Don't
Right.
allow that depression to kick in because it will mess up your life like that. You don't want to live your life in fear. And
Mm-hmm.
I know I had to get over it.
Yeah.
And I had some friends. I mean, and I only had friends when I got older though.
Okay.
When I got older, when I was in my when I was about 25, that's when I got my second assault. And
Mm.
I'm in my 30s now, but
Okay.
when I was when I was 25, I got assaulted the second time, um and I had my friends around for that one. The first one, I kept it a secret. I even kept it a secret from my mommy. I kept it a secret from a lot of people because I felt ashamed, because first of all, I snuck out. I didn't supposed to be there,
Right. Right.
and I used to blame myself all the time.
Yeah, I
You
was
know,
about to say you probably thought it was your own fault.
I used to blame myself all the time for just sneaking out, and but when you come to realize it's not your fault. Like I keep saying, it's their fault because they the ones that are the monsters.
Right.
They the monsters. They the one that have to live with that.
Yeah.
And I just dealt with that. And the second time, it hit me a little bit more worse though, because it made me go back into when I was 15. Because you
Mm-hmm.
didn't think that it would come twice, but it did, and I had my friends around, but I didn't have my brother slash cousin around. See, at that time, I had him for the first one, but I didn't have him for the
Right. And then it sounds like your healing process. Um, wasn't complete by the time the second one came around. So that's probably what made it worse. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I'm appreciating again you sharing these transparent moments, because it, kind of will lead into, I'm thinking it's going to lead into your past experiences, into what you're doing on today. How did those experiences, whether it's the health challenges, the sexual assault, the suicidal ideations, attempts, and things that you dealt with, how did they help to shape you to where you are today? Because I started this session off by mentioning how, um, just now meeting you, but I see that you have a huge heart. You have a huge heart for paying it forward, for giving back and helping others. Um, so how, I want to ask, how did that shape you?
Oh, it shaped me a lot. You know, it took me a long time to get where I'm at. I have a mentor. I call her my big sister. Her name is Queen Jennifer Jalencia, and she's New Warrior family. We go out there and help the homeless, and, and feed them. And once I feel like once God put me and placed me in a place where I could learn off others and somebody that actually went through some things that I might went through, and I basically love her, because I feel like, when I talk to my other big sisters, they don't sometimes they don't understand. And it's easy to talk to somebody that actually been through something. And that's what I did, which, I mean, with God help and my church help and my mentor, who was my big sis, I call her my big sis slash mom, my mommy, my actual mommy, my family, they always help me, I'm always the one that always encourage them, but sometimes even a stronger one needs the encouragement the most.
Oh yeah.
And I got my strength back from doing giving back to others. I mean, as God was shaping me, I felt like okay, and kept talking about my brother slash cousin, kept talking about my assault, talking about my sickness. It made me stronger in my purpose, because it's somebody out there that's always in need of something. It's always somebody that needs to talk to. I might have a little sister out there that wants me to talk to her, Like I say, I'm
Hmm.
a young woman, but I've been there. I know how it feels to be alone. I know how it feels to be isolated from your family sometimes. I know how it feels to be like, okay, I had enough, and these type of thoughts gets into teenagers' minds real quick, because the devil, that's what the devil want to do. The devil want to get you right then and there, but you can't
Right.
allow the devil to continue to get into your mindset. You got to put your faith and your hope and your life and your love in God. And that's what I did. I had to fight. I had to really learn to fight. And that was my main goal that God was teaching me, that I can't depend on people, and that's what I
Hmm.
used to do. I used to depend on people to lean on, and to mold Amenna, to mold me,
Right.
to protect me,
Yes.
but I had to learn to actually fight for myself. I had to actually learn how to fight in the spirit realm. I had to learn how to fight in a physical form as well, not with your fists, but with speaking life to others, and I had to do that. I had to really learn how to be love Amenna, and it
Hmm.
was hard to actually love Amenna, because there's so many things that Amenna had to deal with. So, but
Yes.
to this person that you see now is the growth person, the person that,
Mhm.
yeah, can shed a tear, but is happy at the same time, about her past. I used to be ashamed about it, even to talk about certain things in my life, because I used to feel so isolated, but now I feel like God has actually put me to the forefront to help others and help them in a healing process. And
I love it.
I love it, and I love doing it. I love only doing what God wants me to do.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Listen, it sounds to me that you're giving credence to something that I always say. I always say that our journey in life is not only for ourselves, it's so that we can help someone else. And your lifestyle and how you've come along and the things you've experienced definitely attest to that. Listen, guys, if you're just not joining us, we are talking today here on Mind, Body, and Soul with Amenna Scott. She is the founder of JesusWorks, and I want to get it right here. JesusWorks Housing Voucher Program. But that is just the title of her foundation. But we're going to talk now a little bit more about what that foundation does and how she helps individuals paying for it. We spent a little bit of time talking about her personally and how she has gotten to this point in her life. And I wanted her to share that with you here on this platform so you will understand who she is. And then we can try and reach out to her, help her in her foundation, this organization, because it is definitely something that is needed. So let's talk about JesusWorks Housing Voucher Program. Talk about this program and what prompted the decision to create this program, and what is it all about?
Okay, I love JesusWorks Housing Voucher Program. It's it's about helping others. It's not about just the voucher program, but helping them mentally, spiritually, and anything else that they need. Like, we want to get a building because we want to start our program. We want to bring hope and love and caring to those that are in need of these things. It's homelessness. We want to end homelessness. We want to end poverty, because it shouldn't be poverty out here if God says He provide all our needs. So I'm just that type of person that walks by faith all the time, and I let God lead the way. And so what this is to help individuals and families pay. We want to help them pay their utility costs. Okay, but once we start there, we want to gradually graduate to presenting the vouchers, and hopefully we'll have the building. I'm sorry, y'all. The
That's okay.
building. We'll have the building so we can start our program. We want this to be nationwide. We want it to be global. We want to be in all 50 states and cities. We want it to be international, because everyone need a place to stay. We cannot take this stuff from this democracy. A lot of times we get the crumbs all the time, and that's not right. We want equality. We want to be equal to our other peers. We shouldn't have to take the crumbs from the government. We shouldn't have to take the crumbs from housing or other government issued federals or whatever, that they think that they have control over us and our money. Okay, that's why our ancestors fought for freedom, and we should have freedom. We should have freedom of speech. We should have freedom in this democracy. We should have freedom as we get paid. We shouldn't be delayed on our pay. Billionaires and all that shouldn't hold our money, from what we fought and what we worked to get. And that's
Yes.
and I speak for the senior citizens as well. I have old parents, so I don't like for them to have to worry about, oh, they social security going to be gone and all this. No, what we're going to do is pray, because prayer changes things, and we're going to let God lead this, because I feel like everybody is don't see the bigger picture and what God is doing. It's all about an awakening seasoning. awakening season in this season, because a lot of times we lean on the government, we lean on people, we lean on this, but we leaving God out in a lot of things. And God is trying to awaken us up to lean more on Him and not on them.
Okay. I like that. Lean on him and not on them. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, that, coincides with the scripture. Our faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of God. So I love that. I love that mentality. So, a lot of times when individuals start foundations and organizations, they do it a lot of times because of what they've experienced. So if someone's starting a housing program, maybe they were unhoused or dealt with a situation like that. Did you just kind of look around, maybe in your area, your neighborhood, and was inspired to
Uh,
start this?
yes. I live in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Okay. When I was on dialysis, and I remember precisely walking through this bridge, and it was so many homeless people out on this bridge, just laying there. And they was just throwing their stuff, throwing these people. I mean, because our mayor announced
Mm,
them to throw their stuff out of put their stuff in the trash, move them. But see, this is what I don't like about this democracy, about these high main people, these people in high places. They always want to say it's a money issue, but they don't want to face the real issue. They don't want to face poverty. In order to fix the homeless, you have to go to where it starts, and that's in poverty. You have to find jobs. You got to give them jobs. Jobs have to be open, but it's so many jobs. You can apply for a job you got experience in, you went to college, all this, but you get underpaid. You don't, it's a discrimination. They say it's not discrimination, but it is discrimination. And they
mm,
don't want to say that because they know that's illegal for them to say that. But they do it because they have loopholes. They have loopholes to do this in the system. And that's why I say the system was never made for us. It was made for them. It wasn't made for us. And that's why it's still homeless, because they know if they got the money, but they know if they could fix it, they're not going to get paid. You know what I'm saying?
mm, mm.
That's how they get paid, by making others suffer.
Yeah.
That's how they get paid, by making others suffer. The homeless, they could fix little buildings, they could put buildings up and put the homeless in there. But they don't want to do that because that's money coming out the pockets, and that's that money that they have, they can't steal it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they want to
Yeah.
steal the money for their own self. So they want to end homeless. So what are you going to do with the homeless people? What are you going to do with them? You can't ship them off nowhere. They are American citizens. So the thing
Right.
is, you have to you got to come up with a solution. And they don't want to face the solution. They rather see them in poverty and probably die off,
Right.
okay? And probably die off because they feel like, oh, well, they don't have the money, they don't have anything. So let them just stay out on the streets.
Mm.
And that's not fair. They're human beings. And that's why I be like, I don't understand humanity. Humanity has changed. And it's no good Samaritans out there. It's some of them, some good Samaritans, but I'm saying in these high places, nobody is actually speaking for us.
Yeah. Wow. That's beautiful. And then, because I think I was having a conversation with my sisters earlier about things that we are facing, and we need to try to do what we can to make whatever changes, necessary or needed, within the world. Now, however small our platform will be, we need to make sure that we do what we're supposed to do. Okay.
Yes,
But yeah, I love that. And I love, how you kind of reaching out, want to give back, because they are humans. They need We're all human. And some need a little bit more help than others. And whatever we can do, we should be able to do it. So how long has this your foundation been in existence?
Since last year.
Since last year. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Well, no,
last year.
that's good. Got to start from somewhere, right?
Mhm.
I do want to make note, guys, as I was introducing her earlier, I do want to make note. She's a first time author as well. And is it called The Perfect Life?
Yes,
Okay. All right. The Perfect Life is the name of her book. So Amenna Scott, the author. And so you see all the different hats that she wears, again. Ooh, The Perfect Life. That's a very catchy title there. Hmm.
yes.
Let me see if I kind of want to maybe throw a little, make this a little commercial break. Tell me about The Perfect Life.
Well, the perfect life is actually you. Nobody has a perfect life. It's a message in their life. I mean, it's a message in the book. And I'm gonna say this, and I say this all the time. God wrote this book. I'm gonna say I didn't have nothing to do with this book. Okay. I didn't have nothing to do. This don't have nothing to do about me or my life because it's about. That's why I say this is an awakening seasoning because God wants us to be more awake. And sometimes we have these. We all have angels. We have angels, and we have a good one. We have a bad one. But sometimes we listen to the bad one all the time. We listen to that bad one because it tells us what we want to hear, but the good one is trying to it kind of promote and push, and we don't see it because the other one is trying to outride that one and make it
Mm,
look so good and glorifying and everything like that. But this one is trying to tell you no, warning you not to do this. So we'll basically dodge that angel to the left and listen to the other angel, which we know that is not right, which is not right. So the angel becomes silent and everything falls. And at the end of the day, you didn't hear God's message. You didn't hear what he was trying to say to you. You didn't see the signs. You didn't see none of this stuff. So it's just an amazing book. Oh my
wow.
goodness. And the message in it is to be awake.
Okay. Now, where can they find this book?
I'm on Amazon, Kindle, Amazon.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. And the title again, guys, is The Perfect Life, and she's on Amazon. You can purchase it there. Look for it there. And congratulations. How long has it been out? When was it published?
Oh, let's see. January. I think the end of January. It just got put up. Yeah, the end of
Of
January.
this year?
Yeah, of this year.
Oh, okay. All right. Wonderful. Well, congratulations to you. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
I know I saw on here earlier, who's it? Gina Gatson. She's the founder of co-founder of of her organization, and she focuses on authors, and it's called the Distinguished Authors Guild. So I'm going to make sure you are in contact with her. Maybe you can submit your book to her. The Lord blessed me to submit my book a couple of years ago, and I was blessed to become an award-winning author through that
Yay!
organization. So
Yay!
I want to connect you with her, and because again, your book, its title itself sounds very, very intriguing and something that we need to kind of focus on. Do want to recognize you guys that did come in. I appreciate you guys on Instagram. Some names over there. I can't see all the names. Is that my oh, okay. I think I see you, prettiest woman over there. She also won an award through Distinguished Authors Guild. And I saw Jeanette on. Thanks for coming in. Lady Hodges, Cornelius Crosley, Gina Gatson, as I mentioned, Mesola Simpson. And also I do see Buddy Gill. He says, good afternoon to everyone. So thanks for coming in, buddy. We appreciate you. Make sure you guys go ahead and throw this particular live feed out, share it. That's what I mean by sharing it. Love, like, care. You can tag individuals directly into this live feed as well, so that they will be able to hear this wonderful human being that I've met who wants to give back and to help others. So let's go back to talking about Jesus works. Uh, so you did say it's not just a housing voucher program, but you want to make sure that you are reaching out and helping others in um, whatever it is that they're dealing with. And I love how you have decided you wanted to create this organization to do just that. So you want to help struggling families. We know that as well. How and I know something like this is not necessarily easy to do. Now, can you talk about challenges that you may have faced even creating this organization?
Yes, I have plenty.
Okay.
um, well, my first challenge is my team. That's one thing because everybody is not on the same page as you are. You know,
Yeah.
you figure out who's with you, who's not, and it hurts when you lose your team. But you got to find other members. You have to find those. You got to interview those that are on the same page as you. That's actually going to do work. And not just sit around and wait for it to come up, and
Yeah.
then you want to take a seat. So that's one thing, and I gotta say my team. So that's the first thing I have a challenge with.
Okay.
And the second is basically volunteers. My volunteers, I love them. I love everybody, but they not as potent as I want them to be. So I have to find me new volunteers that's going to actually do the work. So I have
Mhm.
to, erase them out too. And it's
Mm.
nothing personal. It's nothing personal. It's just business. I mean, I still will help them, if they are in need. But this is business. I can't
Yeah.
have you sitting down and I need help, So and let's see. The next one will be sponsors. I've been having so many struggles looking for sponsors, and that's the main one that I'm really having struggle with is the sponsors and the investment. So them the two ones that but I push every day to do it because we have two events coming up, and this event is going to be so impacting. This is what Jesus work is about. We have to go towards those uncomfortable things that nobody don't want to, nobody won't want to do. Nobody don't want to push out. So this second event it's called Hope and Healing. It's called the Hope and Healing Fundraiser Event, and the code colors are yellow, purple, and black, which represents purple represents domestic violence, yellow represents suicide, and the black just represents beautiful. Okay, and bold. So our event is about people that's going through housing neglect and people that's going to speak. I'm looking for speakers right now for that one. And my second event is called the Little Tyrone Stop the Violence fundraising event, which that is dedicated to my brother/cousin that passed away. And that is where I will be actually speaking about his death. And
Mhm.
I'm gonna have grieving, like I want those grieving parents or anybody that's lost a child to come to this event. I'm looking for sponsors for that. I'm looking for space. It's really them the challenges that I've been going through for the Jesus work is to find the sponsors, the investment, and the space.
Okay. Okay. Now, while you're talking, do me a favor. Where can they, if somebody's looking at you and they're inspired to volunteer or sponsor, how can they reach out to you?
You can reach out to me at my email. That's at Jesus.wvpg@gmail.com. You get
Okay.
you can also you can also look at my website, which is jesusworks.homesteadcloud.com. And I'm always on Facebook. That's Amenna Scott. And Instagram, Amenna Scott. Okay. And
Okay.
TikTok. I'm everywhere. I'm always on the social media. So you will always find me there.
Wonderful. Now, I want you guys to look at, I'm actually putting that in her, under her name tag. So that's her email. In the comment section, I am going to make sure that I place her email and her website for you to contact her directly. And she would be very grateful to hear from you. Um, and we should be able to connect and help others, because
Yes.
you have some that kind of go way out of their way to help somebody else, but then you have those who are kind of working in the background or whatever. Maybe you want to sponsor, maybe you want to volunteer, maybe you want to do what you don't want anybody to know about. Some people are like that. But I am looking on and she also has a Facebook page, JesusWorks Housing Voucher Program. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and that is another. So you look like you have your events on there as well. Is that
Yes. Mm-hmm.
all right?
Yeah.
So she had that posted. Oh my goodness. She had a launch. You already had a launch party, correct? February
Yes.
1st.
Yep. Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. So I'm just trying to encourage you guys to kind of reach out to her. Uh, And I'm just going to show this little flyer that she had for the housing voucher program. Let me see if I can present it to you guys, and you can see it. Uh, While I'm doing that, I am going to ask you as well. Let's see. Let me know if you guys can see this. That's the Jesus when she had her fundraiser.
Yes. That's more
Jesus
fun.
Works. Okay. And that was again February 1st. So even though this particular event has passed, it is not too late for you to help her. We just
Yes.
heard her mention that she is looking for sponsors and volunteers. So, Amenna, if there's somebody that's watching, if you could do me a favor and kind of encourage them to reach out to you, what will be some of the benefits of them helping out with this program that maybe you want to share with them? Maybe you can do that now.
Okay. Well, okay, for sponsors, and it depends on, the levels. Um, like for my levels, I put like the announcement. The Lord's level is to announce and for a higher level, you get to speak. The higher levels, you get to speak at the event, you get to have your banner and stuff like that. And I love that because you get to put your banner actually with the Jesus Works. I love that. That's so cool.
Okay.
And I and you get to advise. You get to have some type of advice, opinion, talk about your brand and talk about what your brand is about. And that's
Hmm.
what when you go, higher into like 500 or something like that. And but for the lower, like $50, we could give you like your little own little section, so you could put your brochures out, for your at the event, because we want your one thing about Jesus Works. We want to connect with a lot of people, but we also want to help other businesses. We want your business to be out there too. And
Yeah.
that's what black helping each other is, helping other black businesses grow, because we want to help those that needs that exposure. Not just my business, but the others people that need their exposure. That's how I am. I'm more of about a sharer. I like to share other people's stuff as well. I wouldn't let nobody come to my stuff and not share their stuff. Of course, their stuff will be promoted as well. Um,
Beautiful.
and
Beautiful.
And I love that about JesusWorks Housing Voucher Program.
Okay. All right. Now, you guys look on your screen. I did pull up her website. And you can see on here, you can donate for a good cause. Um, and this is laid out very nicely here. Their vision statement says they're dedicated to helping individuals heal from their past by confronting their inner struggles, rather than running from them. Through love, support, and community, we empower individuals to embrace their potential and build a stable and fulfilling future. I love that. It
Yeah.
may sound, so maybe you've heard it before, but it's there. I love it. And then they have a mission statement here as well. We are committed to supporting Black families facing financial hardships by assisting with utility payments and offering comprehensive resources. Now, let me tell you all, don't think that this is something that it definitely should not be taken lightly. I receive phone calls on a daily basis at my church because I'm the church secretary, and I get people all the time, Amenna, asking for help with their utilities and their whatever else they have to pay. People are struggling out here, and
Yes.
they need that help. So I love your organization. I love what you're doing to be able to help someone else, and
And that's
also.
what I don't mean to cut you off, but that's one thing that I want to do. I I think that some churches, I think that majority of the churches should have this program in them, so
Yes,
they won't, so they can help those that are in need of housing. So yes,
beautiful.
I've been trying to reach out to the churches, but I don't get no response.
Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Somebody's going to receive it. You're going to connect. Don't stop. Keep reaching out to them, because they church. Because people figure, the church is there, and I should be able to get help from them, or what have you. That's their mentality, and they should. There should be a avenue or a way for people to be able to get the assistance that they need. And
Right.
again, they are looking at the church. So again, guys, make sure you visit her website. If you look again in the comments section, I have placed it there. You can connect with her. You can email her. She is more than willing to connect with individuals of like mind. You heard her say that earlier. You should have the same mentality, to be able to connect and work with this organization, because you know uh, I mean, don't come in if you don't want to help nobody else. No, we don't want you to contact Amina. But if you want to help somebody, please make sure that you connect. And many of you are doing something like this. Maybe you can connect with her with your organization, or you maybe make some collaborations that way. But I just can't stress enough how important this is. Now, you're based in Washington, D.C., correct? But
Yes,
you are open to connecting with people worldwide.
all over. Yep, all over.
Yeah.
Because we trying to get Jesus work to be global. Like we wanted everyone to have a Jesus works. Everyone should have a Jesus works,
I
because
love
it's so many people in a state of emergency that needs a place to live. Like and we should, and see, in DC I want to have a building, so like a transitional building, so they can have, so each Jesus work should have a transitional building, because we definitely will want a community. We will want a community building. I mean, a community place where to place them. That would be great. And
it.
for you put it in each state and cities. So I'm just thinking, like, I would like that, and yeah, that would be great for them to have.
Beautiful. Well, I love it. My hat is off to you again, as I stated earlier, and I want to encourage you to continue on, making sure that you're doing what God has for you to do. Be encouraged no matter what setbacks or challenges that you may have to face, just, keep in mind what God is giving you to do to be able to help somebody else. And, I know God looks favorably on that. So again, guys, go to her website, JesusWorks.homesteadcloud.com. And let me stop sharing this. And I do want to ask you a question real quick. I know we're going to end very shortly. Why the name Jesus Works? I don't think I
Oh,
asked you that.
oh my goodness. Yes. Okay. So one day I was studying I was studying my book, the Bible actually. I was praying to God. I was asking God what you think I should, what you think I should name it or whatever. And he gave me JesusWorks, and then under it, it all of a sudden it flipped to Romans 8:28. And I was like, wow, okay, I see you. And I went, so it's Jesus Work Housing Voucher Program because it's good works in it. And so it has the same meaning of Romans 8:28.
Yes, I love it. Because
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite scriptures. Romans
yes,
8:28.
I love that one.
On the next session of Get Caught in a Net.
Get caught in a net with